It's Cover Price Top 10 time. We have the end of season 1 of X-Men 97. What's up next? What is the next thing that the comic book community will be pivoting to? Deadpool Wolverine tickets just went on sale. I secured mine for the first night. I guess that's probably the next thing, but I'm sure there'll be announcements between now and then from both Marvel and DC. But let's take a look at this week's hot books up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Take a look in the description for Instagram, whatnot, eBay, email, all that great stuff. And I just want to jump into the top 10 list here. And again, X-Men 97 has kind of been ruling the roost. And really in the last month or so, they've kind of pushed Deadpool Wolverine to the side. As there hasn't been a lot of new news there, but we are, just over 2 months away from that movie coming out. And as I said, I secured my tickets. I am going to be there opening night, and pretty decent seats, despite the fact that I didn't do it till a little later in the day. More than 2 months ahead of time to get tickets is kind of crazy, but it's something that I think I am, and I'm sure there are a few of you that are looking forward to that movie. But let's jump into this comic book list. And start
now.
At number 10, Blood Hunt number 2, Red Band edition. This is another EC horror comics homage. Wolverine on the cover. And I think there's excitement in the fandom around the more violent, bloodier subject matter that we're getting here. Wow. Near mint raw for $215. It's a 1 in 25 Logan Libera crime suspense story 16 homage. $215. Oh my stars and garters. That is, I did not, whoa. I mean, it ramped up 50, 40, 50, 50. And then, I mean, this is some pre-sales, and then all of a sudden, $230, $200, $200, $200. This is a $200. Somebody got a deal at $150. Wow, that is bananas. Of course, it's much too soon for this to come to market as a slab. This is a book that's out today. And it's only a 1 in 25. I can't believe people are throwing this kind of money at this book. But there we go. Let's take a look at what Cover Price has to say about it. Marvel's leaning heavily into the Red Band edition, the series amping up the blood and violence to a 10. A nice touch is the homage to a golden era when horror and crime comics reigned supreme. Before Seduction of the Innocent, that should be Sodi, came along and mucked things up. We're leaning into the horror revival, and fans are loving it. High sale of $300 for a near mint raw copy. Wow. That's all I have to say. What do you think? Wow. Let's look at number 9. Let's get back to something a little related, but maybe a little more affordable. And this is Strange Academy Blood Hunt, issue number 1. It is the first appearance of Pia and the first cover appearance of the Darkhold in human form. The book is like about a $20, $25 book. I feel a little bit better. This is is this the variant? Doali? Yeah, because Huberto Ramos did the regular. There's a blood red blank, a blood soaked second print. This book came out, what would it be, 2 weeks ago. I think it's just a cover B. Anything Blood Hunt has been popping in the last 2 weeks, and this book combines that with the introduction of 2 new characters. The first is Pia, a new student at Strange Academy. The second is the human embodiment of Darkhold, the evil book that ensnared numerous Marvel characters over the years. Okay, let's take a look at number 8, at least something that's been around for a bit, but new to this list. X-Men, the second series, 185. This is a book from 2006. There is a newsstand version of this, and it's going up to about $25, $30. And potential spoilers ahead. I think Gambit, Horsemen of the Apocalypse, something like that. But if we look at the graded books, there are 5 on the census. 4 of them are 9/8, and the last sold in 2016 was $28. I would assume there are going to be a few more 9/8s coming to the fore, but this is kind of just, I think, one of those, let's try to find some sort of spec in there. The fact that it has absolutely no history as a spec book, that as a key book, makes me feel that it's not that. I really should have been getting X-Men 97 as it came out. But my daughter and I were trying to catch up on the original series. Maybe we should have just jumped into the new series. Anyway, too late. Haven't avoided spoilers. Let's go to number 7. Spider-Man Noir, number 1, the first appearance of Spider-Man Noir. And of course, the news this week that Nicolas Cage, Academy Award winner, will be playing him in a Amazon Prime series. And this book has been a key for a bit, because it's always been a minor key, but ever since his appearance in the Spider-Verse films, I mean, you have to pay well over $100 for a 9/8. This book came out in 2009, probably not heavily ordered is my best guess. And 9/8's going for nearly $600. A lot of sales recently. I mean, this is a book, if you get graded in 9.0, it's probably worth it. Depending on what you buy it for raw. And let's take a look at the 9/8 history. This book, I mean, back in 2018, selling for $460 after it had been, I mean, still a 9/8, $150 book. And then it kind of languished in the 200 range. And then 2020 jumps back up to 600 and has been pretty consistent. We had a dip here down to 232 in 2022, but it's been hovering around that $500 marker for quite a while. And so this is not the kind of trend that we've seen for other comics during the boom. There is also a variant, but I'm not sure if that is a new variant or not. You can see somebody's asking $706.78 for 9/8. 9/4 is also up there. This is a tough book. This is a tough book to get in a 9/8, but there are 1,150 on the census, universal, 650 or just more than half of them in a 9.8. Let's go to number 5. Godzilla 70th anniversary, Art Adams cover. And this, I mean, I understand the appeal of his recent, Black Cat, Snowbird, those sorts of Good Girl art covers, but I prefer his more detailed cross-hatching and line work here that he was known for early in his career. I believe he did do, was it a Dark Horse Godzilla book? This is a 1 in 50. I guess it's a real retailer incentive, and it's selling for $200. At least it's a 1 in 50, not a 1 in 25. It is a 1 in 50 of Godzilla, number 1. I don't know if I ordered the cover A for this or not, but, be that as it may, let's take a look at what we have to say for this. At number 6, if you've been paying attention, this is yet another IDW retailer incentive variant that's hit our list. Typically, they've grown in value in the secondary market after a few years. This book is bucking the trend coming out of the gate atomic hot. Of course, with the resurgence in Godzilla love we've seen over the last year and the talents of Art Adams thrown in for good measure, it's not surprising to see this book trending heavily on the aftermarket. We tracked 7 copies sold. High sale of $300. Again, this is a book that came out last week. So no slabs on the census. But I wouldn't mind having a copy of this. I do think I got the cover A. I'm pretty sure I ordered that. But it's not Art Adams, and it's not a retailer incentive. So it's just a pretty cool cover by E.J. Sue. So I'll be interested in reading that. Let's go to number 5. Number 5 been on the list for a couple of weeks, and it's X-Men 25, where Magneto extracts the adamantium from Wolverine's skeleton. And this book, I actually sold one for $80 recently. I should have held on to it at 9.8, but I bought it for 50 cents, so it's all good. About a $20 raw, up over 100 in a 9.8. The thing about this book, now you have to pay attention to, there's a newsstand and there's a gold logo. And there's a black and white variant where the color is missing. The hologram still has the color, but other than Magneto, the rest of it's black and white. Pricey book. Let's take a look at the Go Collect data. 1,483 on the census. 33% of them in a 9.8. Just a couple more added since the last time. And if we look at the 9.8 trend, we had one outside sale here. Ignore that. And we've been trending in, I mean, it was up over $100 during the boom, up over 150, kind of slid down to the 100 range. And really, it's settling into that 100 to 120 range. There are plenty out there. There are plenty that aren't graded. This was not a rare book by any means. So, that X-Men run, even 2 years into it, still had a very high distribution. Let's go to number 4 on the list, and it's X-Men 53, the first appearance of Onslaught. This is in a similar vein, even a couple of years after the Adamantium book, going for $20 or so in high grade, about 160-ish for a 9.8. And this all has to do with X-Men 97. There are, this is last week. Let's see if it's refreshed. 899 and 512. After week, another book, but not a 9.8 coming to the census. No 9.9s, but a single 10. And, it's hovering in the 150 range. Didn't, jumped up a bit during the boom. Didn't dip too much, but, did go under $100. And then it's kind of trying to climb up to 150 now. So this book has been hot lately. I think the print run was down a little bit as you're getting into 1996. So, a lot of speculation around this involving the X-Men 97. Again, not a particularly rare book, but I've had copies of this book. I've been picked up copies of this book on and off. Like every time I see it at a flea market or something for a couple bucks, I've grabbed it. So I have to find out where they all are. Let's go to number 3 on the list. Wolverine 75, part of the Fatal Attraction storyline. This is where we discover that his claws were actually bone laced with adamantium. One of these foil covers that came out with all the X titles that month. And this is the second biggest one. There is a blue hologram. There's a blue hologram newsstand. There's a newsstand. And again, probably a $10 to $15 book and hovering around $100 in a CGC 9.8. Since last week, we had 1,600 on the census, 889.8s, a few 9.9s. And a few more 9.8s. The 9.9 did sell back in 2017 for $410. And if we look at sales of this, again, it's hovering around $100. We did have a sale for $110 and $117. So people are clamoring for it a little bit more right now. We see a bid here at $78.50, a signed copy. Again, these books did have pretty decent print runs. So they are out there. Let's look at number 2 on the list. And this is a recent book, X-Men 97, number 1, from about 2 months ago, just before the animated series started. And all of a sudden, we do have slabs of this. The Todd Knock version is the cover A. There are a couple of variants, but nothing seems to have really popped big in that regard. The Ben Harvey Virgin 1 in 100, maybe. The Ryan Liefeld Whatnot Con Gold Foil. We'll see what that sustains. Tyler Kirkham meme homage. That's a pretty, and that might be the one I would want. A C2E2 Unknown Comics exclusive. That's kind of fun. And then there's a Gambit similar one. It doesn't hit the same as the Wolverine. Anyway, let's take a look at how the graded books. This, I think I have this data from last week. 42 Universal 35 9/8, and now 56 Universal 48 9/8. So people have been sending this book in, obviously, and it's selling for over $100. You know, if we look, recently 80, 150, 158, 93. So up to 150 $50. I imagine that this price will only grow. This was not a surprise. People ordered this book knowing that the animated series was coming and getting excited about it. And I'm sure that they'll be submitting the books in to CGC. Now, let's go to number 1 on the list. And it's Doom. The giant-sized one-shot that was in stores last week, going for now $50. In a 9 not graded. And the Adigrano Virgin for 184. People clamoring for Dr. Doom. No Dr. Doom news yet, but one thing I find interesting, when the Galactus news hit, very little movement in the Galactus books. I've noticed that. Very little movement in the Galactus books. Will this be as big a key for Doom as some other books? I mean, the Marvel Superheroes 20, obviously, Fantastic Four 5, maybe those classic Jack Kirby Doom covers, even some of the Byrne Doom covers, I think will be more popular than this. We'll see when this comes to market as a 9.8. And if we just flip up to the top here, here we go. Another Dr. Doom book. Fans have been clamoring for the character to join the MCU for years. We've had a few live action depictions, but nothing definitive. However, that could change in the future. The community knows we're getting a live action Fantastic Four film in the MCU. We have castings of the Silver Surfer and Galactus, Shalabal Silver Surfer. Of course, what would the Fantastic Four be without their greatest villain? Still the Fantastic Four, obviously, but it would be way cooler to have Doom on board. Marvel typically tries to push a title or character before they make their live action debut. This is all conjecture, but a potential indication of where Marvel may be heading. Within the book, Doom is on a quest to secure as much power as possible to defeat Galactus. Marvel could be blowing the dog whistle here or throwing the community off the trail. I don't know if this has any connection to what we're going to see on the big screen next July, but Doom is coming. I mean, they're not going to not use Dr. Doom. That's just not going to happen. So it's just a matter of when and how a book like this fares. Again, I'm always a little bit wary of the brand new books, especially when they first come to market as graded books, because supply and demand. This book will be, there'll be a few at first, 9.8s out there on the market, and then there'll be more and more. Let's take a look at the runners-up. Number 11, Venom Separation Anxiety, the Gold, 1 in 200. Number 12 is the Wolverine. Number 145 with the Silver Claws. There are error variants. We talked about the Adi Granov variant of Doom 1. There's also a Maria Wolf, 1 in 25. And then here, Avengers number 64. A known leaker of the MCU posted last week that Hawkeye will be getting a second season on Disney Plus. Along with that rumor, they also mentioned that Barney Barton, Clint's brother, will be playing a prominent role in the new season. The season is rumored to be based off the movie The Raid and will focus on Clint and Kate trying to escape from one building all season. It isn't clear if Barney will don his villain alter ego Trick Shot or if he is there to help his brother. Okay, that's kind of a deep cut. Mad Max Fury Road Furiosa, number 1. Spider-Woman, number 7. That's still up there. X-Factor, number 6. An X-Men 97 spoiler, skip that. The Adigrano Virgin variant we talked about. And then the Blood Hunt, number 1. The homage to Crime Suspense Stories 22. So that does it for the Cover Price Top 10 list. Not a lot of older books on there, some newer books, and then some, X-Men is dominating the list. I'm interested to see what happens in the next 2 months as the X-Men 97 excitement cools off. And will we get any announcements from Kevin Feige or James Gunn about new projects? That's what's really going to make the, potentially books explode out of nowhere. And that's where some people like to play the spec game. I play it low key. Don't go crazy on it, but I'll just put books aside that I find in dollar bins and whatnot that I think might have potential. And what we'll also see is when the Deadpool Wolverine movie finally comes out, what happens? Who's going to be in it? I have kind of an interesting theory. I'd love to see the Roger Corman Fantastic Four cast in there, from that movie that was never supposed to be released. That would be fun, but nobody knows who they are. So anyway, let me know what you think about the list. You can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.